Calm, focus, happiness. Reach new heights of calm, focus, and happiness here on Mindfulness Mode with me, your host, Mindfulness Life Coach, right here, talking today to an interesting couple, which you are going to be fascinated. I have no question about that. You're going to be fascinated with the conversation. My two guests today are co-conspirators in everything. And there's a heavy emphasis here on spirit, and I'm sure on consciousness. They've been discovering these things. They've been exploring these things since the very day they met. And they've been so heavily influenced by poetry, paintings, photography, film. And as a result, they founded a magazine called Riot Material magazine. And it's now a thriving and widely read literary cultural magazine. I'm here today with Siobhan Hassett and Rachel Reid Wilkie. Welcome to the show, both of you. And Siobhan Hassett, what does mindfulness mean to you?
Well, mindfulness means to me just being present right here, right now, with you, with my relationship with all things, with Rachel, with my dogs. Mindfulness is just being conscious, particularly conscious, meaning not only present with myself and in the moment, but present of who I'm with and how they're experiencing the world, and just observing the interplay between myself and all things.
And Rachel, how about you? What does mindfulness mean to you?
Well, very similar in the fact that I believe that mindfulness is how you are in that present moment. And I think that we can bring awareness to our own mindfulness in that present moment. So it's for me, it's also something to do with the speed at which we live our life. And I do believe that if we take a slightly slower pace to our life, we are able to imbue mindfulness in every single thing we say, do, and how we react and how we are interacting with others around us.
As we move toward the end of the interview, I want to ask you 5 quick answer questions. So, I want to know, what is the name of one person or one influence that you've had that has helped with your mindfulness practice?
Norbu Rinpoche, Tenzin, Wangyo Rinpoche, I was very close with. We love these days Sonia Rinpoche and Mingyu Rinpoche. For mindfulness practice, these are the guys who we go to for our highest teachings, and they're still out there today teaching. But my own life experiences contributed heavily to where I am today in terms of my practice. So it's a combination of getting good teachings, but also living a life that challenges you and that you remain aware of what's troubling you so you can bring it into your practice and continue to evolve.
Sure. Rachel, I'd like to know how your emotions have been affected by the work you've done with mindfulness. How are you able to deal differently with your emotions?
That is a really good question. And I have found, in particular, during the last 2 years, where we have really immersed ourselves into this practice during the pandemic, where we were able to spend a lot of the time out in the desert where we are now, and really put, as Chris said, mindfulness at the summit of our daily experience. My emotions have transformed completely, and I'm a very passionate person, and I spent, like I said, I spent many years in Italy, so I learned from the best
Yes.
how to be emotional and expressive, and so I do have that to my core, to my soul, and and I feel that my emotions continue to arise. My emotions, I get ecstatically happy. I get very emotionally sad when things, when I hear news and I hear things. But I have an incredibly new relationship with them. And they arise, they present themselves to them. It's almost like an old friend, waving at me saying, hey, Rachel, I'm back again. This is happy. This is me. This is happy. And I wave back and I say, hey, welcome. But what happens in that moment is that I'm still within that ecstatic happiness. I'm also calm in the center of that ecstatic happiness. And again, when I feel really, really sad, if I hear some sad news, I sense the deep sorrow within me, but it's within a calmed container. And so I've learned that without even trying too hard, and this is the practice that has definitely installed itself within me, I've become much reactive. I don't react instantly to those emotions. And on the rare occasion, because we're not perfect, on the rare occasion when I do react instantly without a thought, then I recognize it immediately and I go, oops, okay, I see you. I see where you're coming from. It's okay. Let's just sit down. Let's just take a moment. Let's hold hands. Let's see where we're going with this. And so it's really bringing mindfulness to my emotions has just been, I think, one of the biggest transformational experiences I have had in the last few years.
This is really insightful, Rachel. Thank you for that. See, I want to ask you about breathing and about your breathing practice, and if you would comment on the value of having a breathing practice.
Yeah, that's a great question, because up until a few years ago, I really kind of poo-pooed the whole breathing practice. I didn't put much stock in it. I've always been intellectual, and I love the intellectual approach to meditation. But over the past year or two, I've just come to recognize the utter importance of the breath. And in fact, that the breath is the one thing that transitions between the body and the mind, the body and the spirit, the body and awareness. You could just be sitting right down to meditation practice and still be fully involved in your day and in your world, and you have your breath. And then as you settle and you go move more into your awareness being, the breath is still there. And in fact, the breath is the beautiful bridge between the two beings. And I'm now just absolutely certain that the breath is one of the keys to move from one perspective into the next. It's like the rope that you pull through in the darkness to get you to the other side if you need it.
Yeah, fascinating. And I want to ask about a book. Rachel, is there a book that you would recommend that could help people to be more grounded, more centered, more mindful?
Yes, obviously there are many great books out there, and people have different inclinations as to what sort of a teacher they're looking for. But there is one book that was really resonated with me, and it's by one of the great Tibetan masters called Sonyi Rinpoche, who specializes in Dzogchen. And it's, I believe, his first book, and it's scribed from many of his sangars with his students. So it's really, you really feel like you are absorbing his words directly. And it's called Fearless Simplicity.
Fearless Simplicity. And we will put that into the show notes at mindfulnessmode.com, Mindful Tribe. Fearless Simplicity. Check it out. And see, I want to ask you if there are any apps that could help. And when I say apps, I don't mean specifically it has to be an app on a phone. Maybe it's an app in a different form. But are there any apps that come to mind that could help someone to be more mindful and more grounded?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a phone guy or into the apps, but I know that Rachel has gravitated towards this one app called Commune, or One Commune, and they seem to have all kinds of amazing things. Well, we've listened to a number of teachers on One Commune. Is it One Commune?
Yes, onecommune.com.
And they have a great app and truly amazing teachers, really like the best of the best right now in terms of yoga, nutrition, mindfulness, addiction. There's a lot going on there that I think that's just a good go-to first stop app, I would say.
Great suggestion.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Entering the mind mindfulness.com is where you need to go, Mindful Tribe, to learn more. And it's been such a fascinating discussion with both of you. Chris, I have one last question. And I said Chris because I noticed that
Thank you.
Rachel said that a couple of times, but I noticed that you go by C. Von Hassett. So why is that instead of Chris Von Hassett? Why do you go by C. Von Hassett?
Well, it was Christopher at one time, and then everybody started calling me Chris, and then for a couple of years now, people have been calling me C. You know, in the local gang of friends, you know, it's like, C, come on over here, you know, and basically I have no attachment at all to my name. So I just thought, well, if for efficient reasons, you know, let's just go with C. Von. It rings nicely, and I started using that in the magazine, and it's kind of stuck. So it was kind of an organic thing that took place.
I see. I was just curious about that. Final words of wisdom, final words of advice for our Mindful Tribe listeners. Rachel, what would you say to someone who is feeling frustrated, feeling anxiety, feeling as though they want to be grounded, but they're not? What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I would suggest that there really is nothing like meditation for relieving stress and anxiety. But I would like to say that there are many different types of meditation out there. So if you are new to the world of meditation, I suggest take your time, don't rush, do some research and find different techniques that you feel could resonate with you. And once you try something and it feels good, stick with it. That's okay. There is no right or wrong way to meditate. But in doing so, remember that it's like any other training that we may go through in our lives. If you were to start a yoga class for the first time in your life, you would not walk up to that mat and stand on your head. You wouldn't do that to yourself.
No.
So likewise with meditation, it takes training, and it just takes patience, and it just takes day by day by day, and a little bit by little bit over a period of time, you will become trained in meditation. So be kind to yourself, be easy on yourself, give it a chance. Of course, if it's not feeling right, try something else. But I really, truly believe that meditation is the answer to much of the anxiety that we experience in this lifetime.
I do too. I totally agree with you 100%. C. Von, final words of wisdom?
Well, I've enjoyed this last hour with you, and I think if people are looking to reduce their anxiety, they got to tune into you. Your presence and your voice and your questions are amazing. I think you are a gem, and so I would point them right to you.
Thank you so much to both of you for being on the show. All the best to you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.